Hello everyone. I'll be presenting on heritage management of historic sites. So as you all are aware that tourism is a very important sector in India. It is the second largest sector after agriculture. And its importance India is very rich in historic terms and historic monuments. So it's a very important. Along with that, we have to study the heritage management of historic sites and how we carry the management of any particular heritage monuments. So, from my experiences, I'll share some of my experiences from the ongoing sites. So, heritage management. So, what does UNESCO say about heritage management? So, heritage, it is our legacy from the past, what we live with today, and what we pass on to the future generations. Our cultural and natural heritage are both irreplaceable sources of life and inspiration. So, these lines about heritage management are have been put up by the United Nations, by the UNESCO. So, heritage is all about our past. It is our identity. What if we do not retain our identity? It is must for us to retain our identity, because that is how a nation is known to us. For example, if you go to Paris, you automatically imagine Eiffel Tower. But in the case of India, or you automatic anyone from out of India will imagine structures such as temples from South India, or maybe a Taj Mahal. So that is how an identity is created for any country. And heritage can be in terms of either tangible heritage or intangible. So tangible heritage is all about what we see, what is present around us. So that is tangible heritage. It can be in the form of a monument, a structure, or either even ruins. And intangible heritage is about the culture which surrounds these monuments, the local style of craftsmanship, the local dances, folk songs, art forms, something like that. So that comes under the intangible heritage. And since we have to pass on these heritage structures to our coming generations, it is very important that we restore them. Not just restore them, but restore them in a sustainable manner, so that we also take care of the environment at the same time. So, what is heritage management? So, there are different aspects to it. So, we will begin with the conservation, restoration, repairs, and preservation of any architectural heritage monuments and structures. There are several challenges that comes along with it, but we will start with understanding first what is conservation and why do we require it. So, heritage conservation is about retaining a certain structure with minimum intervention to it. You must have seen that there are certain interventions done to a particular monument wherein very brutally any external factors added to it. Uh, Sorry, am I audible?
Yes, yes. I was starting.
Miss, Mr. Paramjit Singh, please
Yes.
mute yourself. Mr. Paramjit Singh, please mute yourself.
Oh, sure, sure.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh, sorry.
yeah, no, actually, Miss Nishikanta, in case you find
Huh?
some kind of a noise, just stop at that particular time. It does happen sometimes. The participants
All right.
remain without muting themselves.
Not not an issue. So it's okay. It's all right. So conservation, we begin the conservation. So how do we begin the conservation of any particular site? So first we visit the site, or even if we, and then we try to find out the history about the site. What is that place exactly? What was its use? When was it made? So for that reason, we begin with the understanding of history, the archival studies, and documentation of the particular site. So for documentation, we usually see to it that we get some archival records of it in the form of either photography or any old drawings, and then we document it. We visit the site, we take a lot of photographs, and then we make drawings out of them, and then we decide कि उसमें कुछ प्रॉब्लम है, क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है ये मॉन्यूमेंट में, इसको कैसे रिस्टोर करना चाहिए, इसमें ऑलरेडी किसी ने रेस्टोरेशन किया है क्या. So that is how the heritage management plan starts from that point. After studying the site, after knowing what goes into it, and then the report is submitted to the client, and also the requirements of the client is understood कि उनको क्या चाहिए, उनको कुछ particular बात है उसमें जो उनको चाहिए, and then we see to it if it fits with the ethics of the conservation. So कुछ international ethics भी होते हैं conservation के, national है, international level के है, जैसे CPWD है, उन्होंने कुछ सेटअप किया है, जैसे फिर ASI है, Archaeological Survey of India, उन्होंने कुछ सेट किया है. So depending on that, we study everything. और वो साइट कौन सा लोकेशन, यस लोकेशन मैटर्स अ लॉट किसी भी कंजर्वेशन के लिए. तो वो वहां पे फिर उसके हिसाब से देन वी डिसाइड कि शुड वी गो फॉर अ 3D मैपिंग ऑफ द साइट और फिजिकल एनालिसिस से ही काम चल जाता है कोई कोई केसेस में. अभी यहाँ पे यू कैन सी दिस द टॉप image that is from the Uparkot Fort. We are currently restoring that project, which is in Gujarat, Junagadh. It is a very nice fort, a very massive, spread over a massive area. So we begin its study by collecting all the traditional data, all the archival photographs of it, and trying to understand, because there has been several historic interventions to this site. And after that, after understanding all the different Hindu style of architecture and Islamic style of architecture, which is very well blended into the fort, उसके हिसाब से फिर हम लोग रिपोर्ट बनाते हैं. And then we decide what will go into the restoration of it. So this is one of the example. This is a convocation hall which is in Mumbai University. We have restored it. आप देख सकते हो कि यहाँ पे ऊपर क्या हालत थी, बहुत खराब कंडीशन थी इस हॉल की. वहां पे काफी डैम्पनेस हुआ था. Since the hall is located in Mumbai University, and Mumbai experiences very high monsoon levels of monsoon levels, and because of that, you could see a lot of dampness over here. So this is how we begin. This is the beginning step of the conservation, that you physically see the site. You recognize what all the glitches that has happened onto the structure, and then we did a very holistic conservation, and you can see the before and after result of it. And उसी का सेकेंड पार्ट है. सो आफ्टर डूइंग ऑल द रिपोर्ट्स एंड फिजिकल सर्वे, उसके बाद आता है चैलेंजेस. तो पहले किसी ने कुछ उसमें काम किया है, फिर अदर देन दैट फिर फाइनेंसेस इज वन ऑफ द वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट चैलेंजेस दैट कम्स इनटू, that has to be considered into a heritage management. It is only after taking into consideration कितना finance है, we can decide the degree of restoration. For example, some clients do not have much of a finances to offer, but at the same time they also want to restore the site. So in that case, we take into consideration कि क्या important है ज्यादा restore करने के लिए. So we generally take up that. For example, अगर structure बहुत ज्यादा weak है and at the same time अगर finances का भी crunch है, तो we see to it that पहले वो structure खड़ा हो ठीक से, and only then after that जो थोड़ा fancy या थोड़ा interior का कुछ होता है, और we take up that. और other than that, I told you about the location. तो हेरिटेज मैनेजमेंट में लोकेशन का भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल है, बिकॉज वहां पे मटेरियल्स पहुंचाना, वहां पे लेबर्स को पहुंचाना, वहां पे कोई अगर सब कंसल्टेंट्स है तो उनको साइट पे पहुंचाना, दैट इज अगेन एड्स अप टू द फाइनेंसेस ऑफ द क्लाइंट. और इसीलिए इट इज कंसिडर्ड एज अ चैलेंज, एक्सेसिबिलिटी इज कंसिडर्ड एज अ चैलेंज फॉर हेरिटेज मैनेजमेंट. So this image is again from the Uparkot Fort, which I described. जो जूनागढ़ में अभी हमारा काम चालू है, उसमें the entrance of the fort is not as big कि that the truck can go inside. So we have to unload all the materials, all the tools, machineries from the truck onto the with the help of a crane sometimes onto the tractor, and then the tractor goes into the site. ऐसा है. So again, that is something which adds up to the finances, and we require a lot of labor for it. So as you can see, another very interesting, as I told you कि यहाँ पे ट्रैक्टर है, हमें फोर्ट के बाहर ही पूरा अनलोडिंग करना पड़ता है ट्रैक्टर में, and then this tractor goes into the fort. And as you can see again, this is a crane के पीछे there's a very small opening. So these are again very small challenges. Transportation का है, accessibility का है, and then transportation and accessibility together can add up to the finance part. फाइनेंशियल बर्डन ऐसा है. So transportation hindrances हुआ, उसके बाद again height challenges, the individual challenges of every monument. So this fort has several different monuments, and since the fort is located in Gujarat, Gujarat has a very nice history of different kinds of wow. A wow is a step well. तो यहाँ पे भी this is an अड़ीकड़ी wow. तो इसमें ये अड़ीकड़ी वाव है, और ये दिस इज अनदर वेल which we call as नवगन कुओं. तो ये दोनों में हाइट काफी नीचे है, इसीलिए इसका क्लीनिंग का बहुत प्रॉब्लम हो रहा था. We cannot always keep the laborers suspended from above with harnesses. So we had to do a lot of brainstorming. तो उसमें से we came up with this idea that we should use the plastic drums, जो प्लास्टिक के ड्रम्स होते हैं. We have placed that, एंड उसके ऊपर हम लोगों ने एक प्लेटफॉर्म ऐड किया है. एंड देन वो प्लेटफॉर्म विच इट्स बेस्ड ऑन द बॉय मैकेनिज्म, वो फ्लोटिंग वाला मैकेनिज्म पे है. एंड देन वी हैव सस्पेंडेड द रोप्स फॉर हार्नेस, क्योंकि थोड़ा ऊपर का क्लीनिंग वगैरह है उसके लिए. एंड देन उसके ऊपर हमने वी हैव पुट अप स्कैफोल्डिंग्स. एज यू कैन सी ये स्कैफोल्डिंग्स है. So these are various challenges which we step every day, and every day we have to come up with something new. And besides that, before we began to start working for the wows and wells, we had to make sure that at least some part of the water had to be clean. Since these wells hold religious sentiments, there are several tourists and visitors who come there, and they just simply throw the drinking bottles, the chips wraps into the well. And for that reason, now as a step of management, we have decided that we will be covering up the wells, so that it does not add to the water pollution of this. This was again a very major task for us to clean all the dirt which has fallen into the water. So again, challenges and hindrances. One of the biggest challenge again for the fort is the encroachment area, which has happened right outside the fort area. So since the fort is located near the Girnar Hill. Girnar Hill is one of the tallest peak of Gujarat, and that the entire region receives a lot of rainfall. And because of that, there has been a wall collapse due to heavy monsoon rains. And fortunately, no one was hurt. That area was vacant right where the debris fell down. But we cannot say that what could cause anything. Any rains in the future can cause unfortunate incidences, and therefore this is another challenge in heritage management of encroachment. So we have asked the local corporation to take care of the encroachment, and they have promised us that they are going to rehabilitate all the people who live illegally around the fort. Another challenge of management. So as I was also talking about the interventions, कि किसी ने पहले आके काम किया है, they simply did it without thinking about the finance, because of the finance crunch था, या फिर they did not have much of an idea what to be done. So in that case, ये बहुत अच्छा एक example है. This was supposed to be a very grand entry for the fort, and यहाँ पे ऊपर there's a platform where you can see a screen like thing. यहाँ पे जाली जैसा कुछ है, तो where the soldiers used to stand and take overlook if anyone is coming in, who's coming in, going out of the fort. But someone just decided later on to do a RCC intervention. So again, RCC is a modern material which just does not go with the traditional limestone of the fort. So we had to get it removed. And again, this is affecting the authenticity and originality. See, for conservation or restoration of heritage monuments, it is necessary to retain the authenticity. The ethics say that you have to retain a structure with minimum intervention. जितना authenticity आप maintain कर सकते हो उतनी करनी चाहिए, जितनी originality होनी चाहिए, काफी originality आपको maintain करनी चाहिए. So as in the beginning, as I told you, कि documentation is necessary. So documentation से हमें पता चलता है, we had a photograph of this particular region, जिसमें से हमें पता चला कि there hasn't been any slab in this region. So from that we decided to take it down. So these are some of the charters which we follow. The ASI, Archaeological Survey of India, so they have set up some norms. Other than that, there's ICOMOS, there's SPAB, and there's INTAC. These are some of the charters who have been working endlessly to see to it that the restoration is done within certain following certain rules and sets. So this is authenticity maintaining. I gave you a point about how to retain an authenticity. So someone had redone this particular sculpture with cement, but cement is a new material. It's a contemporary material. So we had to redo it in using lime. So lime, because originally there has been lime. So when the structure was made, this was from the Convocation Hall, Mumbai University. So when the structure was made in that time, India did not had cement, and from that it is very obvious that it has been made in cement, made in lime. The sculpture has been made in lime, and other archival studies had led to it that we found out that originally it was made up of limestone. As you can see in the last image, the sculpture, it is made up of limestone. So we are retaining authenticity. And so as I told you that it has tangible heritage and intangible heritage, two type what comes into heritage. So tangible heritage, what is present around us, that is tangible heritage. So tangible heritage, since we feel what's around us, it has conservation, it has use of traditional materials, documentation, lidar surveys, and challenges and hindrances, all this fall under tangible heritage. And yes, of course, sometimes we have been finding some antiquities on the site, some sculptures or some pottery, or sometimes even cannonballs on the site. So we try to retain them, we try to collect them, retain them, and sometimes we give them away to the museum so they can take care of those antiquities further. So here for one of the project, the Upperkot Fort project, we had to do a drone survey. Since there the fort falls under hill fortification category, there are different categories for fort, and this fort has had a lot of dense vegetation. So we decided we should go for drone. So depending upon the survey, the initial survey, the primary survey is when we decide that what kind of restoration or preservation we should be doing. And again, this adds this is the drone survey has been very helpful to us. Because of that, we have come to know certain hidden structures which were hidden. And besides that, even since the drone has been flying, we had discovered a chhatri which was present near one of the monuments, which was completely totally hidden under the trees. Another aspect of conservation and restoration is that since that comes under heritage management is now that you have restored the structure, आगे क्या करना है? What should we do with the structure further? How are we going to use the structure further? So पहले the structure had some other use, but now what are we going to do? So another example from Junagadh is this Sardar Patel Gate, which you can see. So this has been constructed by the Babi dynasty, the Nawab dynasty of the Junagadh, as a commercial for commercial purposes. So we had decided to go for the same purpose again. So adaptive reuse, now that you can see, we have restored the entire structure, and then the various commercial offices are government offices are going to be occupied very soon into the buildings. So this is a very nice elaborate buildings which stands in a very nicely kept crescent shape, and it stands right in front of the Junagadh railway station. And other than that, we have another example of adaptive reuse, that is Surat Castle, a castle which is located near the Tapi river. and we have converted it into a museum. Since Surat has been a port city, it has attracted a lot of trade and commerce initially in the history, and because of that, there has been a lot of different historic layers into the fort. So there has been Armenian, there have been Portuguese, there have been the British, and we could find a lot of cannonballs around it and a lot of cannons. So we decided to make a museum out of it because पहले तो castle था, but अभी उसका क्या करना है? So everyone should come to know कि how the lifestyle they had, the different types of rooms they had, the different artifacts that they possess. So we have very well arranged them, and now it is open to public. Now phase 2 of the project is going on. So phase 1, we decided in the heritage management that we should go for phase 1, see how what kind of response we get with the help of Surat Municipal Corporation, and the response is really good from the visitors. And because of that, we have decided to go for the phase 2. As I was talking, that some antiquities we had found on the fort side. You can see this is the some artwork from of which depicts Jain style of architecture, and some other artwork which depicts the Hindu style of architecture. So we come to know that there have been the Upperkot Fort had different styles and different era, and kings who follow different religions. And besides that, the first image which you can see, the boxes, so that is a part of our evidence collection. So there is a local style known as the orthodongo method, which is very common on the Saurashtra region of Junagadh. So Junagadh falls in the Saurashtra region of the Gujarat, and they have this lime coating technique. So since lime has been traditionally been used over there, so we could find some coating evidences which we had very carefully collected and kept them, that we have done an evidence study, and based on evidence study we are carrying out a restoration process further, so that if someone questions us or we have to explain how our process has been, so we can explain them that we have gathered some experiences for documentation, and depending upon that we have taken certain decisions for certain type of restoration. And it also comes under the intangible heritage. So intangible heritage is something which we cannot feel or we cannot see, something like a culture. So someone in the past has done some kind of local orthodongo or zikki plaster, as we call it, that kind of coating which we have carried further. The craftsmen who have learned this technique from their ancestors have been doing it even today. So that comes under the retention of the maintenance or retention of the local style, which is intangible heritage. So initially we have found a lime chakki. The first image with the bull around, that is a lime chakki. तो lime chakki में they used to grind lime, or lime में to gain some strength into the lime, they used to add some jaggery है जैसे या google है या fenugreek seeds है for additional strength. So this was the original technique of grinding the lime. Now we have cement, the lime mixer, but ये original उनका technique था. And we have restored some similar lime chakkis even at the fort precinct. So उसका जो result है after the application of वो zikki plaster or the local orthodongo method, on the right you can see ये कैसा एक reflective एक glossy finish आया है. You can see the amount of work that must have been that the artists must have put in वो finish लाने के लिए. So this technique is not known to every artist or all parts of India, but it is a very nice local method which we have retained it even today. So as a part of retaining intangible heritage and from evidence collections. So these are some of the initial heritage management processes. Other than that, इसमें स्किल ये भी आ जाता है कि स्किल एम्प्लॉयमेंट आ जाता है या स्किल ट्रेनिंग आ जाती है. So people who as I said, people who have learned, who have undertaken this form of zikki plaster from their ancestors might tend to forget it. But if we encourage such restorations and such local styles, they can retain the local styles, and at the same time they can implement it, and they can also further pass it on to the next generations. Another part of heritage management is the human resource management. So unless there are laborers and lot of human resource, any project is not possible. It is only because of the strong team that we are able to deliver a very good projects. इनके बिना तो project हो ही नहीं सकता है. So on the first page, as you can see, Mr. Ram Savani, who is the director of Savani Group, is giving some advices to the laborers and to all the team members who are involved into the process. And we also see to it that the local community is involved at the site. It is not just that we get the laborers from different parts of India, but also we have laborers from 5 to 6 different states. But at the same time, we see to it that the local people also get to work on a site. One very interesting thing is the fort, the Junagadh fort, the Upperkot fort in the Junagadh. There have been some guides who could not work because who could not get any employment because the work started and they did not have any other skill other than being a guide. So we had asked them to work with us, and now they are working with us. And because of them, we have come to know many other things about the fort, as well as we have been trying to help them as a part of the local community employment. So these are some of the team members who are involved in documentation and marking on sites. As I told you, again, Swachh Bharat Mission, we see to it before starting our work that the site is maintained. We give educate a good place to stay for the laborers, hygiene, toilets, hygiene, places to stay, the food, everything, and everything on the site is clean before we begin with the work. And you can see all the debris, all the things that have been lying on the site. We have been clearing them before beginning and disinfecting of the site. And below you can see a labor camp. Besides that, we for the visitors and tourists, we have been planning toilets and bio toilets and construction of toilets, because toilets and drinking water is one of the very basic requirements of any tourist site, because um, you can the site takes up a lot of your time. So because of that you need to cater to these basic needs of the visitors. Unless you cater to the basic needs at any place, be it heritage monuments or be it any government building, no one's going to really visit there. And another effort from us to retain the intangible and local culture or local style is that we have been implementing the, uh, the signboards, the signages, even in Gujarati language, just to maintain the local environment of the area. So yes, it is equally important to cater to different types of tourists, such as some tourists who completely come for religious purpose, or some tourists who are very enthusiastic about history, or adventurers, or even such tourists or visitors such as children. So it is very important that we see to it that everyone who comes to the site is enjoying the site and doesn't get bored because they are not very much interested in history. So these are some of the examples which my colleague Ms. Pratima will take up now. Hello. Okay. Hemant sir, can you hear me?
Yes, Miss Sugandha.
Sorry, for some reason my colleague is not able to join in. So is it okay if I continue further?
Yes, that is up to you. Yes.
All right. I'm extremely sorry for that. So I'll continue further. Okay. So some of the examples of our work is Smart Cities Mission Surat. So we have been working with different schemes of the government, and Surat Castle is one of them. Since Surat falls under a smart city, so they have the local corporation has taken up the castle work, and as you can see, I've written on the right hand side that the Surat Castle's mention has been even done in the Niti Aayog's Heritage Management Report. So you can understand the level of authenticity that we have maintained, and the conservation efforts that we have put up, that Niti Aayog has taken has mentioned it to be a noteworthy example of heritage management. So these are some of the before and after of the project. So before, the condition was really deteriorated, very bad condition, very bad state of the Surat Castle. So with a lot of planning and documentation and evidence collection, archival collection, we have come to this point. So first, in this case, first we study the structural stability. Only if the agar structure stable hai, only then we can ensure the soundness to the safety and soundness to the visitors. So यहाँ पे the structure wasn't in a very good condition, and अंदर बहुत सारा vegetation आ गया था. Even बाहर भी you can see over here बहुत बड़ा एक ficus growth हुआ था यहाँ पे. So we had to clean all that and then begin with the restoration. Again, some examples of the Surat Castle. Here you can see the stones have been deteriorated. यहाँ पे timber भी पूरा decay हो गया था. And this is one of the lobby. यहाँ पे adaptive reuse किया है. We have made it into a museum. So उसका एक this is image of the lobby, and some images from the museum, some displays, and the right hand side top is the audio visual room, where we show documentaries in Gujarati, English, and Hindi about Surat and the history of the Surat Castle. This is another example of Prag Mahal, which is located in Bhuj. So this place had been first hit by earthquake, and the top finial, as you can see on the cursor, this had fallen, and even the balusters they were in a shattered condition because of the earthquake. And we did a very we began with structural restoration, and as we first ensured that the structure is standing in a good condition, and only after that we went inside. So even inside, because of the earthquake, many of the sculptures such as these were in a bad condition, and the chandeliers were all shattered because of earthquake. The glasses were all broken, so we got them all restored back in place. So for chandelier and for sculpture, we had special artists who have been coming from different parts of India to restore. And this place, maybe some people must have already visited here, or this place has been endorsed by Amitabh Bachchan for Gujarat tourism, and many film shootings have been conducted over here in this palace. So some of the national policies and schemes which we have been working for are the cellular jail, which is at Port Blair under the Swadesh Darshan scheme, and this image is for the entrance of the cellular jail. Another Smart Cities Mission project is the Visakhapatnam Old Municipal Office and the Town Hall. So before, the condition was really bad. It was all decayed, deteriorated. So we got it restored back. So here it is very difficult to make people understand the importance of heritage and why we should retain the heritage and not bring them down. You can see the very beautifully restored. It brings back the glory of a place, and it gives an identity. For example, someone from Visakhapatnam could say that yes, this place has been restored, and this we have a very nice heritage monument in my city. This is a example from the Rajabai Clock Tower and University Building, which is which is located in Mumbai University Fort Campus. So again, as I told you, that Mumbai receives very heavy rainfall, and because of that, all the facade, the face of the building had become all blackish in color because of the fungus growth, and we have got it all cleaned with least intervention. And some techniques which are authentic in our in the heritage field, and we have brought the glory back. And this is because of the CSIR funding. Again, another scheme which we are working for. Thank you. That's it from my side.